Now, the global community is faced with the challenge of improving sanitation, and sizable targets of the Sustainable Development Goals must be achieved for the challenge to be tackled. Sadly, the indices is not encouraging, as the United Nations statistics indicates that 4.2 billion people globally live without safely managed sanitation. In fact, Nigeria, with an estimated 200 million population, has deficit of toilet facilities for 116 million people. Out of this figure, 38.8 million of them tend to be comfortable with open defecation. The burning issue now is the link poor sanitation has with transmission of diseases such as cholera, diarrhea, hepatitis A, and even polio. Even the waterborne gastroenteritis, which has claimed more than 10 lives in Lagos, is one of the products of lack of toilet facilities and poor sanitation. How then can the global community and Nigeria overcome this challenge? And what should be the health-related strategies needed to change the tide? We will be providing answers to these and more on Panorama from the Lagos Network Center. I am Jennifer Igwe. We will be right back. The Bayelsa State Governor-elect, David Leon, has been tasked to ensure that the trust and confidence reposed in him, as well as the enormous goodwill he enjoys across party lines in the oil-rich state, are not misplaced when he assumes office. President Muhammadu Buhari, who threw the challenge while receiving the governor-elect, insists that effective strategies must be fashioned out for responsible and functional leadership in Bayelsa State. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
It was a joyous moment for President Muhammadu Buhari as the APC National Chairman Adams Oshomole and the Chairman of the APC Governorship Campaign Organization, Governor Badaru Abubakar of Jigawa State, formally present to him the Bayelsa State Governor-elect, David Leon. The president is not only happy because of his party's overwhelming victory, but most importantly, the transparent and peaceful manner the election was conducted.
I congratulate you most sincerely, and I congratulate the party because people thought that was an untouchable constituency, but thank goodness we made it. I think everybody knows our style now. It's good to succeed. They say nothing succeeds like success, but to succeed in APC means even more work. I'm very pleased you are very well known in your state, so that people will not be disappointed by choosing you.
The national chairman of the party, Adams Oshomole, and other speakers attributed the party's victory in Bayelsa State to the people-centered policies and programs of the Buhari administration, as well as the guidance and support of the president.
To have all the oil-producing states in opposition is not, even in terms of national security, I think there are issues. So the benefit of our having our own APC government in Bayelsa State, for me, cannot be overemphasized. So we are also excited that under your leadership, more good things are happening to our party.
We thank you very much, sir, for the leadership, and we follow your footsteps in being transparent, honest, and straightforward. And I think our candidate stands on that, and he will not fail you.
During the visit, President Buhari and other speakers appreciated the role played by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, in ensuring victory for the APC.
This gives our party a footprint in the Niger Delta. And I want to assure you, the APC is a good product, just like our governor, and we intend to sell that good product in the whole of the South-South and the Southeast.
Many people worked hard in making this happen. Most importantly, Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, who have always shown the party that win or lose, we should aim for free, transparent, and fair elections. And in Bayelsa, we have seen a demonstration of that.
The governor-elect, David Leon, assured the president that he is prepared to do whatever it takes within the limits of the law to take Bayelsa to the next level.
We, Bayelsans, will not disappoint APC, and I believe there will be a serious positive change in Bayelsa State.
The media briefing also provided the opportunity for the APC family members to rejoice over what they called the glaring rejection by Nigerians, all those who monetized their mandate and defected from the governing APC, especially in the 8th National Assembly.
So I think the lessons to be learned for us as a party are rather clear, that when politicians go to the polls to collect mandate on a particular political party platform, and then they get the dues and dub the party to another party, the electorate will always be waiting for them.
The Bayelsa State Governor-elect David Leon will be sworn in on the 14th of February next year. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Now, the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, says the federal government will continue to collaborate with the Nigerian Union of Journalists and other such bodies as it moves towards sanitizing the nation's social media space. The minister stated this when he granted audience to the leadership of the NUJ in Abuja. Anthony Forsen completes the report.
Using this statement actually put the cart before the horse by publicly rejecting the planned social media regulation without even trying to understand what it entails.
The Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, laying the cards on the table, explaining to the leadership of the Nigerian Union of Journalists rationale behind plans to sanitize the social media space. The minister made it clear that the situation has assumed an alarming proportion, which, if not checked, will lead to a disastrous consequence, as it has become an all-commerce profession.
As a professional body for journalists, the NUJ has a code of ethics for journalists, and this guides their operations. To the best of my knowledge, no trained professional journalist can afford to engage in fake news. I also believe that no trained professional journalist can afford to engage in hate speech because he or she will not know the consequences. It is therefore imperative for the NUJ and other professional bodies to guard their turf very jealously and ward off charlatans and fakes. We say clearly that the regulation is not an attempt to gag the media.
Emphasizing on the need to sanitize the social media space, the minister called on the Nigerian Union of Journalists and other such professional bodies to join the process.
As a matter of fact, the major beneficiary of injecting sanity into the social media or even the broadcasting code is trained professional journalists. They're not the ones who are out to regulate. No. It's those charlatans. And today, it comes to question who's actually a journalist. Is everybody on the social media a journalist? We believe that the NUJ and other media professional bodies should take the lead in sanitizing the media space.
On his part, the national president of the union, Chris Isiguzo, who maintained that a free press that is independent, vibrant, and nationalistic is a critical precondition for good governance in a democracy.
Will appeal to the Honorable Minister, sir, as the spokesman of the federal government of Nigeria, to ensure that safety of journalists is a priority and that nothing should be done to attempt restricting freedom of the press.
Chris Isiguzo equally raised some salient issues bordering on practitioners, which the minister responded to with assurances that the ministry and the union will work to ensure that journalists are protected at all times. In Abuja, Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
Now to health and sanitation. As the world marks 2019 Toilet Day, focus is on expanding and improving access to sanitation for more than 4.2 billion people living without safely managed sanitation facilities. Lynn Leneke in this report examines the importance of adequate provision of sanitation facilities to health.
World Toilet Day is an annual global event to raise awareness on the crucial role that sanitation plays in reducing disease and creating healthier communities. This is in line with Sustainable Development Goal 6, which promotes sanitation for all by 2030. It is, however, important considering the number of people exposed to infections and disease and deaths recorded due to poor sanitation habits.
The department responsible for public health really has to rise up with their personnel and do what is needful.
The level of hygiene and sanitation in Lagos is very low, or let me say very poor. Maybe because of people's culture or their way of thinking.
Rapid population growth in Nigeria, particularly in urban areas, is putting a strain on sanitation facilities. Poor sanitation habits and inadequate toilets are also factors that encourage open defecation.
I want the government to do more to other places.
We need the government to help us in order to provide mobile toilets in the environment.
The global theme for this year's Toilet Day observance is Leaving No One Behind, aimed at drawing attention of government and the citizens to the importance of implementing policies that will enhance standard sanitation practices and reduce the menace of open defecation and indiscriminate disposal of waste. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Thank you, Lynn. And joining us live in the studio to talk more on this is a medical practitioner, Dr. Memuna Kadiri. Welcome to our studios.
Thank you.
Now, do you think we're taking the challenge of open defecation serious?
No.
Why?
We are not taking it seriously. Maybe because we are not seeing statistically how many people this is affecting and how many lives we lose on a daily basis from the complications that arise from poor sanitation. For example, when there is poor sanitation, poor personal and food hygiene, we do understand, with even the open defecation, we have what we call diarrhea. And diarrhea is a symptom of waterborne diseases like cholera, dysentery, all this food poisoning. And people on a day-to-day basis die from this. But we are not seeing it like something that we should take like Ebola. During the Ebola period, we knew how everybody came together, rally around. The common man on the street was able to understand the impact of what that means. If we begin to start taking poor sanitation the way we took that Ebola, I believe everything will change, because you've just read our statistics. In a country of 200 million people, over 160 million people don't have good sanitation, and open defecation over 38 million people. How do we come out of poverty with poor sanitation?
It's interesting because it's a story that has been told over and over again. There has been awareness campaigns, and it's as if the trend still has not moved to the positive. But maybe because most people don't understand the link between having toilet facilities and health. So what is that link?
Yeah, so good. If we have good toilet facilities, and we are not featuring on, you must have a water system, you will flush, it has to be posh, even the pit latrine. That is why they said safely manage sanitation. Even the pit latrine, is it well covered? Even the one that is not in the urban area, is it well guarded? Is it protected after the usage? Do you have a slab that covers it? These are the things we are talking about, because poor sanitation, if you have it, you cannot leave poverty. And what are we fighting for? At least the first Sustainable Development Goal, and we understand in Nigeria that poverty is still a very key thing. With poor sanitation, we cannot ever achieve elevating ourselves from poverty. And health-wise, we know that health is wealth. For every country to be wealthy and with the GDP to go up, the populace, the community, the environment has to be clean. People have to be healthy, starting with safe, clean water, starting with good sanitation, starting with good personal and food hygiene.
And I think also attitudinal change is also key.
Very key.
Because there are areas where they even have toilet facilities, but people hardly use them.
Even when they use them, they don't even flush.
Yes.
And they come to the workplaces and carry that attitude. So the thing about why did he make mention of attitude as one of the first burners is that it's so difficult. Even in research, we see it. Changing attitude is really, really difficult. And that is why health education, public enlightenment must start from every home. Because when you are wired that way to keep good sanitation, wash your hands after using a toilet, wash your hands before eating, we will grow up, go to the school, replicate that, grow up, go to the workplaces, replicate that. So that attitude, you carry it irrespective of any other thing you grow. But if we don't do that in every home, in our own little corners, how do we begin to start changing other people's attitude that are messed up in the workplaces or in the general society?
And then this brings me to the theme of the 2019 Toilet Day, which is leaving no one behind. So what strategies can we put in place to ensure that we have toilet facilities everywhere and people use them so that at the end of the day, no one is actually left behind?
We've left a lot of people behind, and that's why the statistics are really sadly so. We've left a lot of people, over 4.2 million people.
Or they chose to leave themselves.
No, funny enough. So, when we look at where we are in the urbanized area. Talk about the rural areas where open defecation is a normal thing. The truth is that strategies to put in place, it needs a lot of funding. And that's why they are talking about by 2030, they want to make sure the SDG goal number 6 should be good sanitation, of course, safe water and all that. We need health education and enlightenment. And that must not be just lip service. It must be properly implemented. Homes, schools, churches, corporate organizations, all that is like, it should be like signposts everywhere, written, where you see it regularly, where it registers in your brain. Safety water, good sanitation, good personal and food hygiene. So you see, this food hygiene thing, a lot of people may have food poisoning and they won't know where the problem may be coming from.
Like the case of gastroenteritis
exactly, that's happening in Lagos right now. Food poisoning is there. Aside from the water, poor sanitation and, of course, pollution of our water because of open defecation, that waste is transported miles away from where it happened, and whatever, instead we perch on it, animals we perch on it, people will go to the toilet, don't wash your hand, and they're the ones that are cooking. We are living in very difficult times. People are stressed up, so they wake up, they run to their workplaces, they don't even bother to cook. So another thing we can add is, can people begin to start cooking themselves more? That is another way we can also checkmate this. Because when you cook, you know exactly what you use, how you use it.
And you trust the sanitation and hygiene.
Because if all of us see where the food we eat comes from.
Okay, then don't let us go there, because
we wouldn't want to eat. Yes,
that's a story for another day. Yeah. But we've hammered on the fact that we need toilets. But most times we just think it's just something the government should do. But I'm just thinking, if we have organizations, individuals as part of their CSR provide toilets, don't you think it will help?
So this sanitation thing is a human right thing. And people shouldn't look at just the government. And if I'm even looking at government, it must be all tiers of government, from the local government, national, state, and the federal. But corporate organizations, even individuals, NGOs, we need all hands on deck to tackle this sanitation, because we can't take away poverty if we have poor sanitation. Because under 5, they die every day because of all this poor sanitation and all the complications that come with it. So NGOs, corporate organizations, sit as CSR, build more public toilets, equipped people that can do it. It must not necessarily be you. You can do a public-private partnership
and get the community involved.
The community must be, because once the community is not involved, it's work done zero. You will build, it won't be maintained, and at the end of the day, nobody will use it.
Thank you, Dr. Kadiri. Dr. Ememuna Kadiri is always passionate about issues like this. Thank you for coming to Panorama. Now we'll take a break. Panorama continues shortly. Stay with us.
Slavery is an evil practice abolished all over the world over 200 years ago. But today, human traffickers are selling human beings as slaves in Africa. It is your responsibility to make sure that you and the people you know do not fall into slavery. Don't believe fake promises of jobs abroad.
People went to say Libya, Italy no use you when they carry me on top water. 4 days now they lock me for inside house, no food, no water. I nearly die. Now God, when me heaven and earth, now save me. If you get 1 naira for Nigeria, you get junior one, you say you no get papa, you no get mama, now make you come out. I beg go they do farm work. You better pass person when enter road.
Don't accept to travel to Europe through the Sahara Desert. You may be walking into slavery. Don't be a slave.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by
Welcome back. Now, still on the environment, but this time on wildlife and safety. A lion being reared in a house at Victoria Island, Lagos, by a foreign national. The Lagos State Task Force on Environment has moved the wild cat to an animal resort. Paul Omukago reports that the lion was tranquilized by veterinary experts before it was taken away.
At the background is house number 229 here at Muri Okunola Street. Unknown to residents, a 2-year-old lion has been in this neighborhood since February 2019. This much entity gathered when officials of the Lagos State Task Force on Environmental Sanitation and Special Offences led veterinary experts to tranquilize the wild cat.
The caretaker came to our office that an Indian national rented the apartment in the pretext of staying in this house. But unfortunately, he put a lion, 2-year-old lion, inside that house since February, claiming that he's renovating that house. It took us a lot of time because the animal has been excited because of the crowd, and then we had to allow the animal to calm down. And at the end of the day, we succeeded in tranquilizing the lion.
The occupant of the building was not around at the time the lion was whisked away.
Somebody got in to fetch water. Then he came back, but he couldn't differentiate between a lion and a tiger.
It's not something that should be allowed to stay within the neighborhood where people are living. It's actually scary.
The person feeding the lion said there is lion in the compound. So when we got that, we got the facts and we petitioned the Ministry of Environment.
Engineers saw officials from Etiosa local government serving a notice on the alleged owner of the lion to move it away from the area, a step regarded by residents as an afterthought. In Lagos, Paul Omukago, NTA News.
Interesting. Now to sports update.